What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Raphael Hilaire, Tampa, Florida real estate agent right here in the Sunshine State. And today, I have a extremely important video to make, okay? Especially with what's going on in the market right now. I'm sure you see from the title, how to make your offer stand out in this market. Like, what offers are winning? And I'm going to break it down to you like no others, okay? Most real estate agents don't want to tell you this. Do not want to go over this with you. But guess what? I am. I'm going to tell you exactly what I do with sellers, what I tell them when we're on the market and we receive multiple offers. People are like, all right, I'm going to send the most highest offer. I'm going to win. And then you lose and you're like, but I put in $30,000 over asking price. This video, I'm going to tell you why you may or may not win the offer just because you have the highest price. Before we get into the video, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, because I got a wonderful video for you filled with valuable information, okay? Now, the reason why this video is so important is because so much buyers nowadays are losing. They're losing in multiple offer situations, and they're like, what do I do? How do I navigate through this? How do I win? Remember, it's not always about the price. It's not always about the money. It's not always about the money. It's to make sure you get to that closing table. That's what's more important, especially to the seller. I mean, everybody's situation is different. There's some people that all they see is the dollar signs and they don't care. But there's some people that really need to sell. They really need to sell their home. With or without the market going up or down, it's like they need to sell their home. They need to get from point A to point B. And in order for them to get to point A or point B, they need to sell. Of course, for the highest amount, of course, for the top dollar. But at the end of the day, they need to get to that closing table so they can move forward with their life. In order for that to happen, sometimes price may not be the most important factor to winning an offer. 2 examples, just so you can understand how me as a listing agent looks at these offers and when I'm telling the seller which one they should take to make sure they get to the closing table. Now, let's use an asking price of $375,000. Okay, you have 2 different offers right in front of the table. We'll call this offer A. Okay, the offer is for $415,000. Okay, they put in an escrow of $5,000. They have an inspection period of 10 days. This is a conventional loan, and the appraisal gap is none. Now, most people are like, what the heck's an appraisal gap? The appraisal gap is basically how much the buyer will cover if the appraisal comes back lower. Now, they offer a lot of money, but they don't have no appraisal gap. Now, let's look at offer B, the second offer. Their offer is $405,000. They have an escrow of $10,000. The inspection period is for 5 days, and the loan is conventional. And the appraisal gap is $10,000. Now, let me ask you, which offer would you go for? Would you go for offer A, which has more money giving you in your pocket, $10,000, or would you go with offer B, which it doesn't give you the most amount of money as the other offer, but they'll cover the appraisal gap? Now, I'll give you a second to think about this so you can really determine which offer, if you were selling your home, that you would end up going with. Now, let me explain to you something, okay? If you didn't know, the best answer in this situation is offer B. Now, I know, people's like, what? You're insane. I don't care about the appraisal gap. I want that $10,000 over asking price. Now, let's review the offer again so I can really explain to you why offer B might be your best choice. There's a lot of different reasons for this, and I just want to tell you that, the price is lower, but it doesn't mean it's the worst offer. Buyer B, they have a higher escrow and also has a lower inspection time frame, and they're also paying a difference in the appraisal. And at the end of the day, even though the first buyer A, is giving more money, there's a less chance that this house will appraise at a higher number, and the buyer could walk away if the seller does not come down. Where in the second offer B, they have a gap. So if the offer comes in $395, they'll cover $10,000 in an appraisal gap. Now, I know you're probably wondering, why does that matter? Listen, most real estate agents, all they're focused on is getting your business. Most real estate agents, all they're focused on is making the deal happen for the highest price. But let me explain to you something. The terms matter the most. That is how buyers are navigating from this market. I'm getting a home. It's the terms. You know, you got to lower the inspection period. And instead of you having 10 days to determine, do I really want this home? Do I not? Because you could pull out at any given time during those 10 days of an inspection period. But if buyer B has 5 days to determine, that really shows how serious they are. They have an appraisal gap to cover if the appraisal comes back lower. Because if the appraisal comes back lower and the buyer and seller do not agree, the seller says, I'm not coming down, and the buyer says, I don't have money to bring to the table to cover the gap, guess what happens? The deal's over. Just like that. Nobody gets paid. The seller goes back on the market, has to start the entire process again. Not all sellers can do that. Some sellers need to sell. They're either relocating, they either have family issues. Like, there's always a reason to why sellers need to sell. Not want to sell just so they can make the money. They need to sell. As a listing agent on that side, I would say, hey, this might be your best bet because they'll cover the appraisal gap, which is much more guaranteed. Now, hey, listen, I know you have to move within the next 30 days, and there's no exception. So if we want to cover our ass in this particular situation, we might as well go with the offer that has an appraisal gap, because that's what's going to be more guaranteed. If the appraisal comes back lower, we have to start all the way back again. Because most people, they think if I offer $40,000 over asking price, I can just kick my leg up, I'm getting a home. But it's not always like that in real estate. You have to pass an inspection. You have to pass the appraisal. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it than just the numbers. You know, and if you have a buyer who's willing to cover the gap, you have a much, much greater chance to actually selling the home than a buyer who's actually just giving you the money up front, but they don't actually have it in their pocket if the appraisal comes back lower. Because what would buyer A do if the appraisal comes back lower? They'll just say, hey, I don't have the money, and they could just take back their offer and go right back on the market and go search for another home. Where the seller is like, has to start back from square one, has to get all that momentum back again to get more offers on the property. And it's just a lot. It's just too much. So if you're on the seller's selling side and you're selling your home, this is very important for you to understand that not always price matters in your particular situation. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Because a cash offer could come in with no loan and say, hey, we'll give you $410,000 or $415,000 or $420,000, and it's cash. Like, there's no bank that's involved. So then you're good money. But there's some buyers who need the loan. And what are you going to do then if they offer so much but the appraisal doesn't come back at that number? And as for buyers, this video is very important for you, because I know you're probably with real estate agents, you're like, just give them $25,000 over asking price. Not all the time it works. It's the terms that work. That's something that you want to go over with your agent to ask, how are you structuring my offer? What can we do to entice the seller? Those are the most important questions to ask, because that's what's going to get you in the home that you want. And you only have one opportunity sometimes. So you got to give it your best shot. So if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you have any questions. If you have any questions for me about buying or selling in Tampa, Florida and surrounding areas, make sure you email me right here. And also make sure you text me or call me if you have any questions that are urgent. All right, I'm here to help you. Let's get it. And I hope you got some valuable information about what's important about the price and the value of an offer. See you guys next video. I'm signing out. Peace.